Good. All right. Hey, guys. Hope you're well. Today, I've got my good client and friend, Rex Harrison, here to tell us a little bit about his experience in the Ycba Academy. Rex, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
As Sandra says, my name's Rex. I work in civil engineering. I'm a Ycba director there. That's safety, health, environment, and quality. So a lot of responsibility, not a lot of time. And I guess I've got to that kind of point in life where I thought, if I don't make some adjustments now and maybe take the opportunities that I've still got available, I'm probably going to lose them. So I'm about 50. I'm just over 50, but nice. So just outside my youth, you might say.
Nice. Well, you're looking great. You're looking great, mate. And if people don't know, Rex is a busy father as well. So not only is he a director in that and a busy job, he's a busy father as well. So time is
I've got
essential.
2 sons. I've been a single dad for crikey, about 10 or 15 years now, and both boys both left school, but still busy. Still
any hot ladies watching right now, just give us a buzz. Okay. Good right now. All good. All right, so basically let's start from the top. Basically, where were you before you saw me? Where were you and where were you in your life? What was happening before you started working with me? Fitness wise as well, obviously.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I've always kind of worked out to a certain extent. Ever since, I guess, being in the end of my sort of teens. I took various sort of approaches and stuff. However, typically throughout my working life, I've had different kind of sort of jobs which have put different demands on me, either through excessive hours or through night shifts and things like this. So I've tended to work around those kind of constraints. So I've kind of built up my own kind of sort of gym at home, which has typically just been free weights. Anything I could find secondhand, to be honest with you, I've made use of. I'm into my recycling, you might say, or just time. Depends how you look at it. So my kind of routines are kind of been built up around about that. So so over the years, I've took different sort of approaches. I've researched on the internet and took a lot of interest in terms of how I've kind of structured my kind of workout stuff. But like I say, typically because of the constraints, I've ended up now and again injuring myself. Not massively, but for instance, I'd typically maybe have caused a problem with my shoulder, which might take a couple of years just to heal. Or I might end up working out too much, or maybe not having enough sleep, not getting my nutrition quite right. And I'd end up with probably a couple of weeks off with flu type sort of symptoms, if you like. Which would kind of put me off. It'd break my routine, and then I'd end up, losing motivation for 6 to 9 months. So I never really had a situation where I'd kind of got it together, where I'd had a solid workout routine, if you like, for an extended period. So with the right kind of approach to get the results I wanted. So I got to 50. I thought I wanted to be able to bench press a certain amount for my 50th birthday, which I managed to do. And then after that, I thought, right, okay, how about I take some competent advice to maybe make the kind of gains or get to the level that I maybe wanted to be, where I maybe struggled to get it for myself. Because throughout my working career, I tend to give people advice on sourcing advice and competence and information from competent sources. And I thought, well, if I base my working life on that, maybe I should take some advice in terms of my home life. So I thought, rather than just researching myself and maybe not seeing the full story, I'll take it from somebody that's got the experience, been there, understands it, and has applied it.
Awesome, Rex, man. Listen, I love it. If you haven't figured out, guys, Rex is a smart guy, and he looks very logical, and he's got good reasons to do things. That's for sure. So his approach to his fitness is really one to look up to. Actually, he tracks everything, and he's good at taking on the information and learning from it as well.
I've got a spreadsheet for everything, can I?
Yeah, exactly. So it's been really, really good. We've been able to track his muscle gain, his weight loss. It's been fantastic. That's awesome, Rex. Thanks for sharing that. So basically, when you signed up, was there anything you were skeptical about before joining? Anything you were worried about, maybe online or something like that? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, I spent about 3 months researching you, and researching who.
Oh, good. That's what I'm there for, mate. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
as you can tell, I have to justify my reasoning, in
Yeah.
more than one aspect of my life. But
Awesome.
I thought the only thing you haven't got in life is a second chance, because life isn't a test drive, okay? And time is something you can never get back. So it's about making the most use of what you've got. So on the basis of that, I thought, if I'm going to invest my confidence and time and resources in somebody, I want to make sure that I've made the most informed choice I can, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd seen some of your, I think, kind of sort of podcasts and videos, and I'd looked into other people and stuff as well, and I thought, well, I don't know, it's how can this person really help me, and
Yeah.
is this? I'll be honest with you, is this a
Yep.
bit of a con, or what is it? Because it's you hear so much about people being took advantage of over the internet and things like this, and I'd never took on a personal trainer or anything like that before. Like I say, because of work commitments and when I'd be available, there's no point in me going to a commercial gym because they're shut when I need to be there, or I need to travel about 20 or 30 miles. So it's just not feasible. Whereas at home, I can go out and start working out 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have to wait for anybody to get off the kit. So, I can just crack on and be, make the most efficient use of my time. So, having that personal trainer that would fit into that was really important. And so I did my kind of checks on you, and I thought it kind of gave me the confidence to kind of reach out and just see what kind of person you really were, and just see whether we'd be a good fit.
Okay, awesome. And obviously, once I think we spoke about this earlier when you got on the call with me about starting too. You mentioned that you still had to take a leap of faith, right? You still had to make that final commitment. So tell me about that. So after the call, were you just at ease, or tell me, or were you ready to go? Were you motivated to go, sort of thing?
Guys, going back a few months now, isn't it?
But sorry, I threw that one on you too.
From what I can recall, I was still a little bit anxious, because is anxious the right word? Nervous, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
Just because for me it was a reasonable commitment, because at this time, and just to put it into context, one of my sons is seriously ill and he's suffering with cancer, and he had a brain tumor just earlier on in the year, which in the context of this video, I guess would be 8 months ago. So at the time when we came into contact, I was out of work, and I was confident I'd get back into work. However, I was, if you like, living off my kind of wits and my savings, so to speak. Of course, it was an even bigger commitment for me, because it was going to be using my savings. However, I wanted to send the right message to my sons, in terms of you can put effort in and you can make differences to your life and your performance and your health and so on, whatever your age is. And my sons are 18 and 20, so they've got all the human growth hormone in the world backing them up. Whereas I'm 50 and mine's kind of, it's going down the drain, I think. But I thought, if I can show them I can make a difference in a short period of time, then that's a good lesson for them, and it's very encouraging. So that although it was a big financial commitment, although I wasn't working as well, and I had a lot of commitments to certainly helping one of my sons through his journey, I still had some time available which I could make them use of, and I thought it was maybe appropriate time, with not having the work demands, to kind of sort of team up. So I was nervous about weighing all these things up. But when the dust kind of settled, I came out thinking, yes, it's probably the right time.
You made a good decision.
You seem to be the type of person that I think would get on with. You got a good sense of humour. And yes, I did ask you some leading questions, because I wanted to understand that you understood the science behind what you're telling me, because that's very important to me. I'm very logically focused.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for sharing that, mate. Yeah, and you do get into my mind about the science and stuff, which is great. I do love that part of our coaching and chats. And thanks for sharing that part as well, because a lot of people out there definitely that financial aspect is real. It is a real concern, right? And you need to bring that up. And then, but you also need to weigh it up, like how important is this to you, your kids, right? And you realize that this is going to be something that I'm going to get a lot from. And even in that financial situation, you're like, yes, this is something that's going to,
Absolutely. I also, big consideration is, like I said, I'm 50. I know I think I'm pretty healthy as a 50-year-old. I'm mindful that in 10 years I'll be 60. I mean, you don't need a PhD to work that one out, do you? Well, hopefully I'll get to 60. I mean, it's not guaranteed, is it? But I thought, if I got 60, would I look back and think, I wonder what I could achieve when I was 50 if I'd maybe just had that help and advice and encouragement 10 years ago? Just like I'm 50 now and think, well, maybe if I'd done this 10 years ago, would I, ended up in a slightly different position than what I am now. But the best I think you can do at whatever age you are is try to become the best version of yourself that you can achieve. And
absolutely,
just because of circumstances, it seemed to be appropriate to do it now.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. And that brings us on to like the specific results which you achieved, which you're looking fantastic, mate. So tell us about the specific results that you got, and anything you were surprised about during the program.
Things I was surprised about. There's a number of things really. That's got you sweating, isn't it? It's,
the hard questions with you, Rex. I'm going to let them all out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be sweating. I'm going to make you sweat a bit. What's he going to come out with? It's things I was surprised with. Okay, there's. I think if you're entering into, I'm going to say, a life-changing regime as what you introduce to people, with and you're very supportive with it, you've got to be committed. And although I always thought that I worked out hard, and I think I did work out hard, the different types of workouts that you introduce a different type of hardness, if you like. I always give everything I do as much effort as what I can. I've got a first class degree, and that gives you a bit of an idea that in different aspects of my life, I put the required sort of effort in, and same with my fitness. So I was used to working out hard, but some of the regimes you come up with, I thought, especially the first one, I thought, I'm never going to do that. I'm 50,
That's it.
And the first week or so, I thought, I don't know, it just doesn't seem achievable to me to fit it all in. But once I got used to it, and I got my own kind of gym set up and organised, it became more kind of achievable. And what was a big surprise was the fact that I could do it. So not just fitting in, but the different ranges of exercises and things like that. So that was a surprise, and very positive one. And I've been able to do some exercise and things that I didn't think I'd be able to do before. Another aspect of it was, although I'd lost about 3/4 of a stone to a stone before we met, I'd done that just through calorie reduction. And calorie reduction and my own kind of sort of working out. However, you're introduced us to a different type of diet, which carried on me losing weight at the same speed, however, with about an extra 20% of the calories. And
increase, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So an extra 20% of calories, but I was still losing weight at the same amount. However, I have been able to maintain, if not increase, my muscle mass as well, which is something that I aim for, because it's, for me, blokes should be able to lift everything's. Not everybody agrees with that, but that's my view. So I would rather not lose weight and maintain the muscle than lose weight and lose my muscle. But I managed to maintain my muscle, if not increase it, like saying, reduce my fat levels as well. And also, I mean, something that was a really big surprise is, and we've often joked about this, is I used to have a belt hanging from a lap machine in my garage, And it was something that my mum bought me when before she died, which she died when I was 22, which is many years ago. And it's something she bought me, and last time I could fit into that was probably when I was about 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And I always hung up on there, and it's a bit of a reminder, I wonder if I'll ever be able to fit in that belt again. And I thought, I'll probably have it wrapped around me when I'm in a home or something like that.
It's
But I can get in it now, and I can actually get it about 3 or 4 buckle holes in, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome.
And so I've slimmed down, and the lightest I've been since I've been about 18. And the last time I got within about half a stone of where I am, I felt so weak that I made a point of putting weight on. And I don't have that weakness now. So I'm surprised I've got to the weight I am, but feeling as if I've got the energy I have. And also a very surprising thing is the diet that you introduced me to, for the first time in my life, has quenched my hunger. And I'm the type of person, I could eat your Christmas dinner or whatever you have for your, whatever festivities and things you you buy into. And I could eat and eat and eat till I knew physically I couldn't eat anymore, but I'd still feel hungry. And that made it difficult for me controlling weight. So I've always counted calories, and that's been my attempt to control it. However, this diet, it's got rid of that hunger. So I can eat whatever I need to eat to keep up with the diet, but without feeling hungry to the point that I have to make an effort to actually meet the calorie count, which seems quite bizarre. I'm not used to that. That's probably been one of the biggest surprises, to be fair.
Awesome. Love it, mate. And you get in the routine of doing your own thing with your nutrition and that. And I introduced you to a specific ketosis thing, which is high fats, high protein. And most people don't know that these are the ones that keep you full, man. And these are the ones that are the most nutritious, dense, and the body loves to run off these fuels. Carbs is you can introduce carbs, but the glucose doesn't keep you full, especially the carbs. So this is why you definitely the nutrition change was awesome for you, buddy. Awesome, man. And in terms of advice, what would be the one piece of advice you think was that helped you the most during the program?
Is this advice from yourself or advice that I give other people?
No, advice from myself. Advice that I gave you in the coaching program. Was it the nutrition? Was it the program? What do you think was the best advice for you?
I just having a think. Right, so that's an interesting one, and I can't answer that in terms of one. I'd say the best advice would be just take all the advice.
Awesome.
Because you can't, and people that will have looked at this over on the internet, and I would expect people to do research before they get involved with anybody, really.
Coaching,
you got to do your own due diligence. But for me, it's a case that you need your sleep, you need your nutrition, you need to be able to push yourself. And I think being committed to whatever it is that you're doing is the most important advice, because you'll get out of anything, whatever it is that you put into it. So, a lot of advice kind of revolves around that. But taking a single piece of advice on its own, I don't think would be doing you justice.
Exactly. I love it, mate. That's awesome, brother. Yeah, I think a lot of advice you implemented into your lifestyle, which made those changes, and some some of it didn't always fit. For example, I'll tell you to get to bed at a certain time, right, as you should be, and you like to stay up at night. So each to their own. I mean, we worked around that. All good. Okay, and
I don't think I'm night owl. I'm more of a bat, I reckon.
Definitely a bit of a night owl. Definitely like staying up all night. All right, Rex, and just to finish off, buddy, is there anyone that you would recommend to the program? Anyone specifically? Anyone watching? Is there any type of person you'd recommend for the coaching program?
I'd guess that the people I'd recommend that would get the most benefit from yourself are those that have put a lot of effort into the fitness, or they've tried different approaches and not quite had the results that they think that they could achieve, or they've took advice off the internet in terms of doing their own research, but where actually having somebody who actually understands and has actually applied the knowledge that they're researching would actually help them out. So so in the context of myself, like I say, I'd done the research, but I kind of got to the stage that I thought, well, does this really apply? Or, is the information that I'm reading just politically correct, or is this really what people really use that are successful? So, for instance, I'd read about people going to muscular failure, and yeah, okay, and it kind of works to a certain degree, doesn't it? But it works to a certain degree, and when you maybe don't fully realize where you are in terms of your workout life, so to speak, and journey, I think sometimes you need that advice and experience for somebody that's actually achieved. And you've reached very sort of high levels in terms of what you've done for obviously your own personal fitness and career, and quite often actually having somebody there that's been there and done it and can actually understand where you are on your journey, rather than you trying to understand where you're on your journey yourself, absolutely pays dividends.
Awesome. I love it, buddy. I love it. And there's definitely a lot of people out there struggling or doing what they've done for a long time. And as you just said, man, they probably need a professional to have a deep dive into their situation and help them push past plateaus and that sort of stuff. So, Rex, mate,
yeah, I think kind of sort of reflecting on that, I always looked at myself as being a beginner, but I've been a beginner for 30 years.
Oh, yeah,
and I think
definitely advanced.
And I think you helped me understand that the advice that I was reading on the internet typically was for people just starting out. So therefore that advice wouldn't make a lot of difference to me, because I was probably more intermediate or advanced, I suppose. So I needed different advice that maybe wasn't available there. And so it's been
And
a very
another thing,
worthwhile
Rex.
journey.
I think, Rex, you asked me this question quickly once. You said, how do I do compared to your other clients? And I was like, man, Rex, you're 50 and you're 5% body fat, mate. You're looking pretty bloody good, man. You're like you're looking in one of the best shapes. If I can say for your age that I have. So I think you're even surprised about that, to be honest. I'm like, well, you work hard and you'll implement everything that I say. So that's why you've come out looking fantastic, man.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm quite self-critical, you might say. So and I think whenever you look in the mirror, I don't think you see what other people see, and I still think I must have an odd mirror. But I'll take on board what you're saying.
That's why you're surprised when I give you a compliment. I'm like, but you do look like that. You're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, and I think you've hit something that I think is really important. Although the odd little thing that we've discussed in terms of advice and coaching you've given me, I've maybe varied slightly. So in terms of, I work out last thing at night because that's my free time. So I'll typically hit my gym at 11, whereas often you'll urge people maybe to do it earlier in the day. However, apart from that, I've pretty much followed to a T all the advice you've given me. And I think that has made a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely, Rex, man. You've been a great client to coach, and we've still got lots of gains to come. Yeah. So listen, thank you so much for sharing your story, Rex, and thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Rex. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye.